Hey everyone, welcome back to the Greek Life podcast. If this is your first time listening or watching, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Savannah Morris, and I am a member of Sigma Delta Lambda Sorority Incorporated. And these are my fellow co hosts. I'll let them go ahead and introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Joanne Bastidas. I'm another co-host. I'm from Sigma Lambda Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Hello, I am Abril and I am from Delta Alpha Sigma Multicultural Sorority Incorporated.
Period. And then today we do have a special guest joining us. And then, Joanne, I'll go ahead and let you take the lead on that.
Yes, she's my coworker. Her name is Gigi. You can introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Gigi. I'm a dental hygiene major at Texas Women's University, and I am interested in Greek life.
Super cool. Yay. Do you have any family that are like a part of Greek life at all? Or like
No,
cousins or anything?
I am the first. My family is African, so I they don't know nothing about Greek life. But
Interesting.
my dad, when he was in college, his brother was in Greek life, and so
Okay.
he told me a little bit about it, but not enough. So I still want to know.
Okay. What so
Mhm.
what organization is would that be your uncle, right? Because you said
Yeah,
your dad's brother. What org is your dad's brother a part of, or do you not know?
I do not know. I just know that he was in Greek life.
That's valid. Um, so like since you're not a part of Greek life, like what's something like what's your big question that you want to know about Greek life?
Um, just like how it works, like with rushing and like if you're interested, like what do they expect from you? What do y'all usually do when it comes to like people who are interested in Greek life?
Um, I would say, I don't know for y'all, for us, we don't put rushing because that's a Panalytic side. So for Panalytic, it's like 3 to 2 weeks. And that's why it's called rush because it's really fast. And compared to what my org does, it's like basically taking another class that is in the process that you have to do. And it takes a little bit more longer than the Panalytic side. And I think MPHC also do that as well.
I was gonna add to that. I was like, so within like Greek, so that we have like different councils. So also depends too on like what different council you go to. So all three of us we're all part of the multicultural Greek council, and then there's also there's NPHC, which is another council, and then there's CPHC, and then there's IFC, but that's like fraternity. So that also too depends on like which council you go to. So I will say that as well. So it kind of depends on like which different council you go to.
Okay.
And then just to kind of like go a little bit more in depth about the different councils. So you have the Panhellenic Council, which are your like stereotypically or historically like white sororities, and then you have the Interfraternal Council, which is the like historically white fraternities. And then you have the National Panhellenic Council, which are the historically black fraternities and sororities, and those are like they are also called the D9 or the Divine Nine because there's 9 of them. And then there's our council, which is the Multicultural Greek Council, which is like everybody else basically. So there's like Latino based ones or Latino slash Latina based ones. Um, there's like Southeast Asian ones, just like regular Asian ones. Like there's a bunch of like it's just multicultural. So like all of the cultures are in MGC basically. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so that's a little bit about the council wise. And then as far as like recruitment goes, same John, like we don't like rush, we recruit. So like it's typically like a week long of events. You go, you meet like all of the people, you talk to them. Um, and then you just get to know more about the sorority or fraternity that you're looking into, and then like they'll let you know more about like what it takes to join, but it isn't as quick as like Panhellenic or IFC, um,
Mhm.
Hmm.
those sororities and fraternities.
Okay.
Mm.
I would say, well, we call it Rush Week, but it's kind of like just different events you can go to.
Mm.
So there's usually like I said, everyone depends on wherever you go. But I know for like us, we have events like leading up that kind of like how they were saying like Savannah and Joanne, where like you get to meet people and kind of get to know the sororities because like the big thing about it is like you want to know, you want to choose the sorority that's like best fit for you. So there's a bunch of
Mhm.
events that happen beforehand, so you kind of can get a feel for it to see like, okay, do I like this? So you kind of get to like test the waters out of
Okay.
how people are in that org. But yes, I would say there is kind of to go off of what Savannah was saying.
Nice.
No, yeah. Going off to that, like we call it recruitment week, and like you said, for different organizations that you can go to, or sororities or fraternities, there are different personalities for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go to see like which one fits to you the most, that's what makes the final decision which one you want to really go into.
It's really good. It sounds fun. I feel like I don't know. The idea of rushing just stresses me out. So I'm just like, at least I have some freedom and like just experimenting which org I want to join. So
Yes,
it's really
honestly, that's my recommendation. And so I know whenever I was first joining Greek, I was like, I don't know where I want to go. Like I knew I wanted to do multicultural for sure, but I was like, I don't
Mhm.
know what to do. So is that I don't know if every school is different or not, but at least for like us over here, it was like literally go to as many different orgs and their different like recruitment or like rush weeks, because it doesn't really matter. Like you're not committed to any of them, because the whole point is for you to go find out like which org do I want. So literally if you have like 3 orgs or 2 orgs that you're like, oh, you know what, I'm kind of interested in both of these, I recommend you literally go to both of them, go to both of their recruitment weeks, both of their rush weeks, whatever they call it, and then from there you can kind of see like, okay, like you'll get more of the vibe or the feel for it. So don't be hesitant to like, okay, just because I went to org A's um, events, I can't go to org B or C. So make sure
Mhm.
it doesn't seem like intimidating, but do go out there explore.
Awesome.
But also be mindful whenever you're going from event to event, because as someone who's like in Greek life, whenever we're at these recruitment events, obviously like we know like what like activities or events that the other like organizations have. So like
Mhm.
let's say you make a craft at some other organization's recruitment week, don't
Mhm.
bring whatever you made there or like whatever thing it was, don't bring that to someone else's recruitment event, because it's just like it's kind of like I side eye interests who do that, because it's like you're just going to whoever kind of, or like it's like
Mhm.
it doesn't show like, oh, like I'm interested in getting to know y'all like as well. It's like, oh yeah, I'm so proud of like what I did with this other org. So just be mindful of that, like whenever you are experimenting and exploring, just like be secretive about it in a way. So yeah,
Okay.
that's my little piece of advice. um
Okay.
then we can go to the next question.
Mhm.
Ooh, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Go.
so is there any like what kind of scares you about like Greek life, or like
Mhm.
with certain that you heard that you're like, ooh, I don't know if I want to join Greek life. So maybe we can help you like debust those myths or like stereotypes that you have, if you have any. I
Um,
don't want to say you do have any. If you do,
I do have a couple. My main one was the commitment. Um, I know first year I was very excited to try and be in a sorority, um, because I didn't have much to do and I just wanted to experience it. Coming from like me being a Girl Scout, I just wanted that community again. So um, just the commitment that came with being a Girl Scout and just like having to balance it. What is like all required in the org? Like I know there's like volunteer activities and like you're pretty much involved on campus, and I know y'all have I think I've seen some banquets on Instagram. I don't know what y'all do, but
Yeah.
like what all do you do that's like aside from school, just the org itself?
who wants to take it first?
Okay, so for us, we love to do community service. I know for TWU, there's a requirement that I think for all programs or organizations, you have to do more than 20 hours.
Okay.
So we have to figure out what days that we're going to do it, or we're going to do a bunch of sisters get together. And then it could be at Denton or in Dallas that we try to figure out, or we can try to do volunteer hours in our philanthropy. So for ours is the Boys and Girls Club. So we try to go to the events that they have for volunteer hours, and we go help with them. In general, what was your question again? I'm so sorry, I just blanked out.
No, just like what? Yeah, you pretty answered like
Yeah.
the community service. What apart from community service do y'all do? I know y'all host events and stuff. Um,
Yes.
and do y'all meet with other people from different chapters? Like, how does that work? Like, what are the events that y'all have
Yeah.
as a org?
I genuinely think like for the other chapters, it's sometimes very unofficial for us personally,
Hmm.
because we legit I got a text that's from our sister. She's not from TWW, but she did cross over here saying that one of our chapters from UTD is like, hey, you actually were they're doing a stroll night over there. Do you guys want to come? And we're
Mm.
like, do we really want to go? There's like, we got assignments. We're like, what if we do our assignments ahead of time? We can go over there. Like stuff like that. It's like, it's unexpected that you would just not do if you were in Greek life. It's like from other universities or other chapters, if you say that's very unofficial, or they invite you to events that they made for themselves. Like it can be their probates, their events that they did for fundraisers. They need help for girls to bring in over there, or like they're a smaller chapter and they just want more sisters to be over there so that they can have that support.
Hmm.
And I will say that for us, that's what we do a lot since we are a smaller sorority. We're just founded in Texas and like 2 chapters in Oklahoma. So like we try to help as much as we can for the other chapters. And then like besides that, we are very proud for our academics. We are, I think, the second highest org, if I'm right. If I'm correct, I might be wrong. But that's the thing that we do for sure, because I know our vice presidents always get checks up on our grade to see if we're failing or not. And if we're not failing, we're like, okay, well, if you need additional help, we still have study hours. We still have stuff that we can hang out together, like study dates that we can do and hang out with each other. And then if we're like flunking or like going to like the grade that we don't want because we set our goals for ourselves to achieve, she pulls us to the side and is like, hey, you know what? These are resources and these are outside resources that you can use. And we can figure out one-on-one time if we have another sister has exactly the same major. You can talk to them and then you can figure out what we can do the next step to bring up your grades.
It's really good.
Mhm.
You want to go
I
next,
had
Savannah?
another
Oh,
worry. So, coming from a small school, like I'm afraid I won't get like the full experience. So that's why I was asking if y'all meet up with other chapters, just to like have that sense of like just just socially, just being fun.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Um,
go.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like we all like kind of travel towards each other because it's like it's one of those things like you get what you put in. So
Hmm.
like if you go to other chapters or like you go to other schools and you're supporting their events, they're gonna do that same thing like for you. And so like I feel like that's why a lot of like you always see like a lot of Greeks kind of like always together just because it's like, oh, I'm supporting you, you support me, and like if we support each other, we can like lift each other up. So yeah, like I feel like if you're worried about not having community in Greek life, there is a community. Like very especially like like depending on the organization that you join as well, like how like big or how small they are, like also plays a role in that. Because if you join like a really big org, wherever you go, you're potentially going to be able to like meet someone who's in your same organization, which I think is really cool. Or just like Greek life in general, like both of I so I do avid tutoring.
Mhm.
And two of the teachers that I work under, they're both in Greek life. And so
Oh,
that
that's
was something that like I kind of like connected with them on like immediately. So it just kind of like provide like wherever you go in Greek life, there's always going to be like someone that like relates to your like situation pretty much. But I feel like Joanne kind of covered like everything that we do, like socially, academically, community service wise, even like sisterhood wise. Like there's just always something to do and there's always someone to like hang out with. And like
mhm.
we host study nights, we host like fundraisers. That's another thing that we do. We do fundraisers. Um and yeah, it's just like a lot of fun. I just Greek life is just like yes, it's time consuming and like yes, there's like a lot of things that like are done in it, but like it's all very beneficial and I feel like it kind of like prepares you for whenever you get to the real world of like having to like navigate different friendships and like people you like, people you don't like, um how to like organize events and like set up for them and like delegate your time wisely and all of that. It just teaches you so many like life skills and I definitely recommend going Greek.
Yes, I
Awesome.
do second that. I would say too. I was like, if we ever say something that you're like, I don't know what that means, feel free to let us know. 'Cause I know sometimes, like, like we talking, it's probably like, like Greek terminology, and you're like, I don't know what that is. Like, feel free to let us know because like, we can break down whatever we say. If you're like, I don't know what this is. So,
Okay,
also, to little side note.
thank you so much.
But yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, commitment wise, is that like, there is a commitment wise, like, it's like anything, if you're joining something, um, like any org, you're gonna have to put in some work with it, but at the end of it,
Mhm.
it's gonna be like rewarding for it. And talking about like kind of Savannah was saying that even if it's like within your own, it can be within like let's say like your own sorority or even like just in general in Greek life. Like you said, she was saying, it was very supportive. Even when you go to a different, let's say, a different school, even if you don't know anyone over there, the Greeks usually are like, hey, like you're Greek, hey, what's up? I know I went to Waco. I think it was like 2 weeks ago, and I didn't know anyone over there. But they saw like my jacket, and they saw I had letters, and they're like, "Hey, you're Greek, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Greek." So like I said, even if you don't know anyone, literally like
Mhm.
people like recognize the Greek letters. So it doesn't matter. Like I said, if you're like, I don't know who this is, or like I don't know one here. If you're Greek, or even if you go to like a workplace and hey, like you're part of Greek too, hey, like you can bond over anything. So I will say, I feel like Greek life does have a good, what is it called? Like a good friend, like relationship with each other, even if it's not like your own org, or even if it is your own org. Like you never know where you'll find a Greek.
I
That's
love that.
true. Like I went to Nebraska. I don't know if I was in Nebraska or Kansas, but I had it on a like sweater that said like my organization's name on it. And some like random guy, he came up to me and he was like, "Oh, you're in a sorority." And I was like, "Yeah." Like and he was like older. He was like 50, 60 maybe. And I was like, "Oh yeah, like whatever, like yeah, I'm from like Texas, blah 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 blah." I started getting into it, and he was like, "Oh, that's really cool. I also went to school in Texas, and I also joined a frat." And he was like, "This was back in the '90s, though, so like whatever." But I was like, "Huh, that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool how it like wherever like." We both already said like wherever you go, you're gonna meet someone who knows either something about Greek life or like just you know all of the things. But so are you thinking oh, so obviously you're interested in joining Greek life. What's like something that like you're looking for in a sorority?
Um, so I've centered my whole like I listed what I was looking for in an org. So I was in band, so it has to be very, very fun. And I was a dancer, so strolling is my thing. So if the org is like in that with strolling, like love that. Um, Also community service. I'm always looking for things to put on my resume. Um, I just want to be involved. Just like having purpose with my time because of course like there's a lot of fun events within the org, but if it means something then and I can utilize it, then yeah, I definitely want that. Um, just a sense of community. I know sometimes with orgs it can be a little messy, but just like no matter what, like you always have each other's backs. So just that sisterhood, I'm definitely looking for that. Um, yeah, that's pretty much sisterhood, um, purpose in the org, and fun. Dancing, especially. Strolling. I'm looking forward to that.
So, well, I will say I do feel like there is. I always feel like you say like there's always an org for someone out there, and like I said, it's just like the matter of time of like you said, you have to actually go out there and find who would like the org that you feel that suits you best. But literally everything that
Mhm.
you're saying, like I can probably name a few with like oh yeah yeah this org can do that does that does that. So like I said, it's just
Mhm.
you finding out okay, because strolling okay, let's say all these orgs stroll okay, but what is it? Okay, all these orgs do community service, but which one is it that calls your attention more? So
Mm,
definitely I do. Well, from what you said. I can pretty much say like I do feel like there is an org out there for you for sure.
awesome.
I agree. Yeah, like obviously like everyone like did you go to our Greek showcase at
I
TWU?
didn't this year because it was my
Mhm.
birthday. So, but I
Oh,
went last year
oh,
and it
happy
was
belated.
thank you. Thank you so much. But I went last year and it was amazing. It definitely put into perspective like which org I would like to join. Just off the vibe I was
Mhm.
getting um
Mhm.
during the showcase, like I definitely you know, put some tallies. I was just like, okay, you're winning me over.
Whenever
You're winning.
whenever you first came to college and you saw strolling, like or like the first time that you saw strolling, like what did you think of it? Because I
The
remember
first
whenever
time that
I
I saw
first saw strolling, I was like, what are they doing?
no, literally, literally. Yeah, the first time I saw strolling, um, it was with frats, not sororities. So,
Okay.
um, my for me, it was at band events, um, at my stepsister's high school because it was predominantly black. So they had it was like a intro to college thing. Their school was like centered around like HBCU vibes. So the first time
Okay.
that I saw strolling was over there, and I was just like, oh, that's really nice. And then when I came to
Mhm.
college, I saw girls, and I was just like, oh wow, that's really nice.
You're like, so
Yeah,
all Greeks do this.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Strolling is like I like what if you don't know what it is, it kind of is like not like off-putting, but it's just kind of like oh, it like kind of takes you like off guard because it's like everybody kind of like just like rushes and it's like what's happening? Like why is everybody like why like what's going on? Especially whenever you're a freshman. Because I remember one time I left the library and they were having like a hump night at
Mm,
TWU and I just was like standing on the side of the stage just watching. And like everybody like would like it would like they would come and go in waves and I would be like it was just so like mesmerizing and like cool and like now like being a part of it it's like this is so it's so much fun.
mm,
But like it's always like funny like having to like explain what strolling is or like the history behind it and all of that stuff because it's just like oh like there is a reason why I'll do this or like oh there is like it's not just a silly dance that y'all are doing all together, you know? So yeah, but yeah, I love strolling. But what was I gonna say? I had another question, but I can't remember what it was. John or Abril, do you have a question?
Mm, I think we answered all mine. To be
Like,
honest.
is there anything else? Because I know you went into like your concerns. Is there any other concern you have, or anything else, or you just like, or those are just like your main ones, or anything that people have told you? Because I know before, like my first semester, I think when like my first semester, whenever I was going to like actually join Greek life, I remember like
mm,
walking by because at my university we had like a big old tabling event, so we had
mm,
basically all orgs, like not even just Greek, just like all orgs of campus, like go out and table, and it's like all throughout like the outside like I'll outside like the walkway outside is all tables, and I
Mhm.
remember passing by these like two people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, are you trying to join a fraternity?" And he's like, "Oh no, like I'm not into like all that like hazing all that stuff." And I was like, "Bro, it's not any of that." Like like they were talking so negative about it, and I was like, "Bro, like only if you knew like that, if you actually go out there and like ask, like you probably would, your mind, that mindset would like change a lot." So I don't know. Is there anything
Mhm.
else that you have that you're like, huh, like or anything that people have told you, like, oh, stay
Yeah,
clear from Greek?
no, literally, definitely the stigma that comes with Greek life, just like, um, like you said, hazing. Also, like when people join Greek life and just like I've had experience when people join Greek life and then they just like sort of gravitate people who are in Greek life and then sort of forget about the friends that they made.
Mhm.
That's my main thing. Like, I don't know if within that org is there like a pressure to just like stay within and just like close off the rest of the world. Um, I don't want to do that once I join Greek life. Like, I want to keep those connections and like I definitely don't want to be pressured into like doing anything that I don't want to do. So
Yeah.
that
I w-
that's my main. Yeah.
Mhm. I would say for that, I think it's very important that like even though you join a any Greek life that you join, that I think it's always important to remember to be like your individual self, because
Mhm.
every individual self is what helps also make the sorority like what they are. So just don't forget who you are like when you join in. You know, I mean, I can speak for like myself at least. Like I still have my friends from whenever I joined. I still sometimes I invite them out to other things and everything. So I would say, like I said, I can't speak for all Greeks. I don't know, also two different councils. I don't know what they do, but at least I know, like I said, I think all that stuff too is something that you'll find like once you find like the org you're interested in, or like you're out there exploring. I feel like you'll kind of catch that sense of, okay, can I be myself in this org, or are they kind of pushing me to be something else I'm not trying to be? So I think that's also something too that you'll be able to find out, like the more you get to hang out with whichever orgs that you're interested in. That's my point of view. So I don't know, Savannah,
Right.
Joanne, you guys have anything else?
I also think kind of like what happens is like I know at least for me, like I spend a lot of time with my sisters. So it's like you're with these people for so many hours that like that's just like who you automatically like gravitate towards just because it's like, oh well, like we're already gonna have to be together because we have to do like this chapter meeting tonight, so let's just go get food after class and like blah 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 blah. And it's just kind of like it's just convenient to be constantly with your sisters because like y'all are not constantly having to do stuff for the sorority, but like you're like always doing something for the sorority. So it's just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, like let's hang out. But I will say, like what I would have said, like making sure that you as a person fit into that org and like you're able to be like an individual, because then that's kind of something that I like about my sorority is that yeah, like we're all very different. Like we're very all different, but like we have the same like end goal. Like we all want to graduate college. We all want to like see women do better, and we want to like support our community, and like we want to like be a part of something like in college. Um
Mhm.
and it just kind of like, I don't know, it's just like a group feel that's kind of, it's like a different bond than it is with like just like your friends that you made. Like not that those like friendships aren't important. It's just like it's just a different like it's just like a different feeling. I don't know how to describe it.
I would agree with you and Savannah and Abril on that because yes, you are in Greek life and like yes, like you put a lot of yourself into the sorority, but like Abril said, you can never forget like you can't disclose somebody that is in Greek and just not ignore them, but like I don't know how to explain it, but I don't know. For me, I like you're my coworker. I like you're not in Greek. I always talk to people who are not Greek because I'm a very social person. And when it comes like just in clothes and like to work, or I see somebody outside, I love to talk to them. I can't see myself not doing that, but like I can agree with the seven. Like a lot of the sorority life like takes you out of that situation that you have to go and like, okay, I had to figure out if I want to go to this social event or do I have to go to this event that I had to do for my sorority, and like which one prioritizes me more and what's going to benefit me more. I'm like,
Okay.
well, like you know what I mean? So like I
Yeah.
would agree with both of them on that part.
And I will say, I feel like definitely with Greek life, like time management is very important. And that, like, let's say maybe like you're not that like, oh, maybe slack on time management, but I feel like the sorority hopefully will help you out there. Like you're gonna have to learn how to like manage your stuff, manage, they say, like, not just like sorority life, but like you said, like, you're hanging out with different people, being able to like do everything. And if you are good at time management, then hopefully then the sorority will help you, improve even better. So I feel like for sure with the aspect, like, you're definitely going to be able to time manage a lot better because you said like you're managing so many different things. Like I know for me, for instance, I have a physical calendar, and literally and I'm like, people are like, okay, let's go hang out. I literally have to open it. I'm like, okay, hold up, what day, what time? And I look at it, I'm like, okay, I can squeeze you in here. Or like if I have something there, I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I already have this here. So also too, time management will be your best friend for sure.
Awesome. I like the sense of accountability within the org too, because with me, like I'm gonna need somebody to push me. Like I can push myself, but when somebody else is telling me what to do, like I'm like, hey, you need to do this. You got this, and I'm just like, okay, yeah. It's a little oomph that I need.
Ooh, okay, I have another question. Unless someone else has another question. Okay, what do you call it? Have you mentioned at all to like, let's say other friends or let's say parents or siblings about like your interest in Greek life? Have you told them like, hey, I kind of want to join Greek life? And if you have they told you anything, or are they
Um,
like supportive? Or they like, eh?
yeah, I told my dad. My I wanted to be in band when I first started applying to colleges. Like I imagined myself being at a HBCU and just playing for the band. Um, but then when I went to TWU, when I came to TWU, I told my dad about how I wanted to be uh, a part of one. I don't know. Can I mention them? Or okay, okay. I just wanted to be a part of one org, and he was encouraging me to, and I was just like, yeah. And I told my friends about it. They have mixed feelings because of like what they believe Greek life is, and so like, yeah, I have told some people, and some have been supportive. It's like mixed.
I feel like that's how it is, like, with, like, whenever you first are, like, telling people, like, "Oh, hey, like, this is what I'm interested in," like, I feel like everyone's like, "Ooh, sorority?" Or, like, if they, like or if they themselves are interested, they're like, "OMG, me too, like, I'm looking at da 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 da." And it's just kinda like it's nice to, like, bond with somebody over that. Or, like, what I did my freshman year was I took people with me to, like, events because I was like, "Hey, girl, you're gonna come with me to this event, and we're gonna go, and we're gonna have fun." So, like, it's also that too, like, having, like, somebody who's, like, down, like, "Okay, yeah, like, maybe I'm not interested, but, like, just to support you, like, I'll go as well," which is, like, very nice to have a friend like that.
No, I feel like there's two different reactions. There's always like, oh, like Savannah said, like, oh, you're joining a sorority, and then another person's gonna be so happy for you. They were like, you know what? If you need help, I give you the expenses. Like, I'll go over there. I'll go help you. If you have any questions, I'll ask a bunch of people. I don't know. I feel like there's two things it comes to the stereotypical things, like it comes through movies or like people that you hear like stuff going on. I feel like that's what changed
Mhm.
their negativity, but whatever you feel comfortable with is going to be your experience, not theirs.
Right. Um, when joining an org, like let's say like you're very excited to join an org, and like once you're in it, you just feel like it's not for you anymore. Like, can you leave? Like, how is that? Like, what's the transition?
So that's a good question. So for like obviously for like every org you're able to leave. Like they're not gonna force you to do something that you don't want to do.
Mhm.
But like So yeah, like yes, you are able to leave. It's just kind of like, but like once you leave that org, you're not able to join another organization. So like let's say you joined, I don't know, like let's say you joined SDL and then you were like, "Oh, like SDL isn't for me." And so you dropped it. And then you went to AKAs and you're like, "Oh, hey, like can I be a part of your organization?" That's like very tacky. So
Mm.
if like that's why whenever you're trying to join an org, you need to like be mindful of what you're joining and like recognize like what you're signing up for at like 19, 20, whatever age. Like this is what you're going to be a part of for the rest of your life, so you have to make sure like it like aligns with your views like now, like when you're in college, but also when you're like 30, 40 years old, like will this organization still like have like will you still feel the same towards your organization? Or like if you're in your 80s, like you always want to be like proud of it and like what you're doing and like what you're choosing to do. That's why like we always say like make sure you like look around and like know what you're joining, because you don't want to be someone who joins Greek life and you make those connections and then it's like, "Ugh, I don't want to do this anymore," because now you lose out on those people that you like had those connections with. And like obviously things are gonna happen and like people aren't gonna want to like be a part of organizations for whatever XYZ reason. um but yeah, it's something that happens, but just like people try to like not do it so often, I think.
Okay.
That's from my perspective. I don't know about everybody else's.
Yeah, so I would definitely say, like I said, like I was saying, like there's not like once you join an org, like I said, um, it's not like you can't technically leave because you can like disaffiliate yourself. But that's why like you're saying it's very important. That's why I would say like go investigate, go do your own experimenting because like I said, you want to find the org that you feel suits you the best. And then say like until you get like your letters and you're officially part of that org, then that's like you're like you're like kind of bond to them versus like like I said, so whenever you're going out to go to see their events or like their recruitment and stuff like that, like that's not obligate. Like you're not gonna like, oh, just because I go to this org, now I have to go to all their events. Like you have that freedom right now to do all that. So that's it. Like I said, do that. So once you actually get into like the org that you're in, the sorority you're in, then you know like okay, I made the right choice. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. But yeah.
Thank you.
Doing your research beforehand prevents the what ifs afterwards, basically.
Awesome.
Do you have any like final questions or anything else, or just like questions in general, like even just about like school or anything like that?
Yes. Okay, so I've been listing all of like my worries, but the main thing that has been preventing me from joining an org was the cost. So, how do fees look like? Like what exactly am I paying for, and like are there is there flexibility with, paying those dues? Mhm.
So with my sorority, I know, or just from like other people that I've talked to, like that are also part of Greek life, like no organization wants finances to be the thing that prevents you from joining. So like let's say like everything's perfect on paper, like you're like, yes, this is what I want to do, like da 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 da, but the money is what's stopping me. There are things in place to like combat that. That way, like that's not like what stops people or prevents people. But like I know like finances and dues are like very hush hush. So like it's not that like they're trying to like blindside you with it. It's just that like they want you to sign up for it before you know the cost, because they don't want the cost to stop you, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. So like you
Yeah.
find out about like dues and all of that like later on. But I will say that all of the dues, like the money that you're paying, it's all for a reason. Like whether it be for like sorority insurance or like your chapter dues to like the like national like headquarters of your sorority or fraternity or whatever. Some of it goes back to like the chapter, like for whatever extra costs and stuff, like for fundraisers or whatever else like that. So it's like your money is going to a good place. It's just, yeah.
Mhm. And then with that saying, like I said, I would say talk to the orgs that you're interested in and ask them like, hey, I have this concern. What's a way you guys would be able to help me out with it? Because you never know. Maybe they can help you create like payment plans or I mean, I don't know if they would do like beforehand, but I know like for us, like my chapter over here, I think it was like last semester, some of us had questions about like, hey, where's all the money? Like, can you want to get a breakdown of where the money's going to? And so whoever's in charge of finances, she's like, okay, I got you. Like, so she literally went down, she wrote down like, where all the money's going to. So we're like, okay, so, and like now you get to see it. So,
Right.
as I would say, like, don't be afraid to ask questions about it. Like, if you have any concerns like that or anything that's stopping you, talk with the org. Be like, hey, these are my concerns. What's a way that you can help me with this, and how can I progress? Because I said, if you are interested, like Sam was saying, no org would want that to be like your, oh, this is the only reason why I'm not joining. So definitely
Mhm.
talk with org.
No, yeah.
Okay.
And also, I would say usually recruitment week or rush week is the best time to answer those questions or ask those questions because there's a bunch of people are in exactly the same boat as you that you're going to the events and they have exactly the same questions that you will have. And they're like, okay, well, since we're in a secluded area or the event, we can give those information out to you instead of like as randomly you meet them at like Chick-fil-A and you ask them. They can't really say it in public because it's like I know like Greek life is sometimes no, not sometimes, it is secretive on things on their sorority or fraternity. So we do have to keep in mind like who's hearing. So I would say for sure it's the best time to ask is recruitment week or rush week.
Okay.
At informationals, I know for sure that MGC and D9 orgs do this. But like an informational is basically like they give you the rundown. Like it's like the nitty-gritty of like the sorority. So it's like, okay, this is who we are, these are our values, this is our philanthropy, these are the requirements I need to make, and like da 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 da, and this is the price and all of that. So, and those are things that you have to attend. Well, for my org, and then I know for sure for D9 orgs, I don't know about like other MGC orgs, but like an informational you have to attend before you're able to like move forward with trying to join, basically. Sorry, my dog has a zoomies.
Mhm. Very good.
Any other questions you may have?
Um, with those informationals, I noticed that they're like within like a whole week, like they have different days of what they're doing. Do you have to attend all of them, or is it just like go to one day, um, and then or like a couple days, like whatever you can make it to? Because I know sometimes like I would like to go, but it just conflicts with my schedule, and I don't want to miss out on anything. So, do they set aside like, hey, if you can't make it this day, like who could I contact or whatever?
Do you want to go, Joanna,
Yeah.
and I'll go after? I know she's hungry.
No, I know for us, if it conflicts with your schedule, I know there's some girls that texts us for that. We do a one-on-one thing and we talk to them privately and what we can do so they can still have the information and still feel like they're picked the right sorority or the right area that they feel very comfortable in. And then I know some orgs, I might be wrong, that you have to attend some of them, but the thing is when it comes to that you do have to be very communicative on them about that to not be scared like oh you know what I'm not going to text them because I don't feel like I can attend, but like if you text them on Instagram they're most likely going to answer really fast because
Mhm.
they know that you're interested and they want you to see you strive. So they'll be like, okay, you know what? If you can't go here, we have another thing that we can rearrange for you that you can get informational and you can go to another event, or we have something else that's another program that you can go and join for us. That's under our organization as well, or sorority or fraternity. Sorry.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, so like different types of orgs, every org may be different. Like I know for us, we always tell people whenever they come to our table, we're always like, hey, we'll have 2 weeks or we'll have events, and those events are free. Not so you guys be able to come and get to meet the sisters, get to see the vibe and everything, check it out. And for us, we always tell them like you have to attend two of those. It doesn't matter which two you attend, as long as you attend two. And then like we'll tell them, like as Vanna saying, like there is informational you do have to attend. It's just that way we make sure that you get all the information that you need. So like I said, that's what my org does. But I said every org is different, but definitely whichever org you are interested, talk to them, see what requirements they may have. Because like some of our requirements are similar, but then again, some of ours are just like a little bit different depending on the
Right.
sorority. So at least for ours, you just have to attend two of those, and I'm pretty sure orgs would work with you also on that.
Alrighty. Do you have any more questions or anything? Comments? Concerns? Do you,
Maybe once
after
at the
like okay, so after like now that like we've kind of like answered all of your questions, like do you feel like now how do you feel like before okay, rewind. Before the podcast, how are you feeling? And then like now that you know a little bit more and like that you were able to kind of like talk through some of your concerns and now how are you feeling?
I feel more at peace because I was really worried about, especially joining a little late. Because I know if I were to join an org now, like I'd only have like a limited amount of time to be with that org before I graduate. But hearing that there's a sense of community even after you graduate, and just having people um, just to relate to at the end, like I feel a lot more confident just doing it now and like just getting that experience while I'm in college and even afterwards.
Yeah, 'cause I was gonna say about that. I was like, I know some people say, maybe join like towards the later years of their college experience, maybe it's their senior year or maybe the last semester. I will say, there every chapter. Oh, I'm pretty sure every chapter, maybe not, but most of all chapters, if not all, have an alumni chapter. So even if let's say like you're not active within like whenever you join there, there's always room for you in the alumni. Um,
Mm.
every org, has this connection with their alumni. You can still do a lot of things there. So you know your your Greek life experience doesn't have to end right when your undergrad or ends, or even when you go graduate or go to your master's, because like you're joining this org, but they're gonna be with you forever. So I would say that too. So even if you say, like, oh, I don't know if I should join, not really gonna get like a lot. Maybe your experience may be different from someone who joined as a freshman, sophomore, junior, or wherever you join. But there's always room for you, like in the alumni world, and there's always something.
I would
And
always. Oh, sorry.
go. Yeah, you go first. Go first.
There's always like a saying that Greek life is always your life. It's like you're gonna be when once you're in it for life. Like
Mm-hmm.
any time that you're gonna be in it, you're gonna find somebody, or you're always gonna be back in your organization or like sorority and fraternity. Like you're always gonna go back to it no matter what. Like you might be like already have kids and you have your own job, and then like you're gonna find somebody. You're like, oh, you know what? Like I might want to go back to my chapter or go to another chapter to just help out. It's always like a thing that you always can go back to, even though, like, yeah, you're not in college anymore, but you can step foot in it again.
And that's kind of like I feel like that's a, like my favorite part about Greek life is the fact that like it is for life because there are sororities and fraternities where not that it's like just for college or it's like I don't know if like I really Joanne if y'all have ever talked to like anybody who's like not MGC or D9, they always say I was in whatever like PC or IFC org it was. It's always like I was in that like in college. It's never oh I'm a part of or I'm a brother or I'm a sister of blah blah blah. So it's just kind of like I don't know. I kind of side eye it a little bit because it's like I pay all this money like while I'm in college and then like after I'm like in college like it's kind of like it's over. But like with MGC and D9 it's for life. Like
Mm-hmm.
I will see videos of like old ladies, like 70s, 80s, old, out there strolling, doing whatever, or like like Joanne said, like even if you have kids, like I've seen people stroll with their babies on their hips, like
Or being
it's just
pregnant.
kind of, yeah, or pregnant, like it's crazy to see like the dedication that people have to their organizations, like or like the pride that they have for their organizations, like I even like way after they've like graduated college. So like definitely like joining later in life, like yeah, you won't get as many of like the undergrad experiences, but the alumni experiences are just like as beneficial or like just as like rewarding too, if that makes sense. But okay. So thank you so much, Gigi, for joining us today. Round of applause to you because you like literally were such a trooper. Like, oh, this was so fun. Um,
Thank you.
but if y'all want, Joanne, well, actually, no. If y'all want, y'all can follow Gigi on any of her social medias. They'll probably be tagged down below in the description. Um, as always, if you want to know what the co-hosts are up to, you can follow us on Instagram. If y'all have any questions for us or anything like that, you can DM us those. And yes, you can listen to this podcast on any streaming service that you enjoy your podcasts on or YouTube. Um, and yeah, we'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.